Hello and welcome to the Ellen Made Book Club. Today I want to talk about the books I want to read for the Savidge Prompts 2025. This is one of many reading challenges that I'm participating in this year, and I will leave a link to the video where I talk about all of the challenges that I'm participating in. But this one is hosted by Simon at Savidge Reads and Louise at Louise Savidge Muses. There is a challenge set up for this on Storygraph, so I will leave a link to that in the description and also to the announcement video for the challenge. There are 12 prompts, one for each month, and then 2 bonus prompts that I think you can use to sort of swap out any of the other ones if you want to, or just do them as extra. I'm not doing the prompts in order. I have a TBR jar with all of the prompts from all of the different challenges that I'm participating in, that I pick a couple each month and see what I get. But I still have a list of books that I have as options for the different prompts, and so those are kind of the books that I am choosing from during the year. In this video, I just wanted to talk through my plans for this challenge, and also for some of the prompts I have a recommendation for you that you could read if you are participating in the challenge as well. Prompt number 1 is to read a book with twins as the main characters. And there are a lot of books with twins in them, but not necessarily as the main characters. And so I had a bit of trouble finding a book for this at first, but then I realized I have the perfect book for this on my list of most anticipated releases for the month of June. So this is, it's gonna be a while until I can read it, but that is Meet Me at the Crossroads by Megan Giddings. This sounds to me like speculative fiction, and it's about faith and family and love, and it follows 2 twin sisters, and I think that they have grown up in different settings, so maybe one with the dad and one with the mom or something like that, and they have some different belief systems, I guess. They have different views on their faith, and then these doors appear in the world, and they seem to lead to another dimension of some kind, or like another world. And so the sisters have a bit of a different view on that based on their faith and what could be on the other side of the door, and people in general are mesmerized and intrigued and scared, and it's the unknown on the other side of these doors. Then one of the sisters go missing. I'm not sure if she goes through one of the doors or what happens, but the other sister has to sort of deal with that. And yeah, I just think it all sounds very intriguing, and I am really looking forward to reading that in June. Prompt number 2 is to read a book with a body of water in the title. Ocean or sea, lake, river, pond. For this one, I am thinking Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield, which is on my TBR right now, and I'm hoping to get to this month. The other option that I have is River Spirit by Leila Aboulela. This is set in 1880s Sudan and follows a sister and a brother who are separated, I think, and have to sort of survive. I will probably read Our Wives Under the Sea before I get to this, but I also have Our Wives Under the Sea for other prompts on other challenges, so if I read both, I can use both on the different challenges. It doesn't matter, but I have these 2 as options. Prompt number 3 is to read a book with a kitchen utensil on the cover, and this one was a bit tricky at first, but then I found The House of Fortune by Jessie Burton, and this has these like pots and pans hanging on the wall, and there's a jug of water or something on the table. I don't know if that counts as a utensil. I don't know what a utensil is, but they're kitchen things. And the woman here on the picture, I hope you can see this, is also holding a wooden spoon. And so if nothing else, I think that counts. I've been wanting to read this for a long time now, and I just need a reason to get to it. So yeah, The House of Fortune by Jessie Burton. This is the sequel to The Miniaturist, which I loved. A couple of other options that I'm also interested in is Empire of Pain by Radden Keefe. This is nonfiction about the Sackler family and their role in the opioid crisis. I saw the show called Painkiller, I think. So I know the story based on that series. But yeah, I would be interested to read the book as well. And then a third option for this is Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. There are a few different covers for this book, but one of them has a big spoon on it. Prompt number 4 is to read a book with a sound in the title. And I've been looking through like the options, the books that people have saved for this prompt on the Storygraph challenge. Some of them are not sounds, they are like things that make sounds, like the bell jar, for instance. Like a bell is going to make a sound, but it's not going to be like a sound. My choice for this is Never Whistle at Night, which is a short story collection by Indigenous authors, dark fiction anthology, and it's edited by Shane Hawke and Theodore C. van Alst Jr. I have this from the library, so hopefully I can get to this pretty soon. Prompt number 5 is to read a book by your favorite author's favorite author. I don't have a lot of favorite authors because I don't have a lot of authors that I've read more than one book from, but one of my current favorites is Fredrik Backman, who wrote A Man Called Ove and the Beartown series and a bunch of other books. His favorite author, or at least one of them, is Astrid Lindgren, and so I want to read The Brothers Lionheart by her. This is a Swedish children's classic that I have read before and seen the movie and just have a lot of nostalgia and wonderful memories of. It's a beautiful story about two brothers. There's adventure and lots of good things in this, and I'm really looking forward to rereading this year. Prompt number 6 is to read a book set in a hotel or a motel. There are books set in hotels, but there weren't a lot that I wanted to read. I have 2 options for this. The first one is The Dream Hotel by Leila Lalami. It's a dystopian science fiction novel. People's dreams are being under surveillance, and so you can get arrested for being about to commit a crime based on your dreams. The women who are suspected of being about to commit a crime are sent to this dream hotel place where they are kept as prisoners. I don't think that that's an actual hotel, or like maybe it used to be a hotel, or it's, you know, I don't know what the hotel scenario is in this book, but it's called The Dream Hotel, and so I'm just gonna assume that there's a hotel of some kind and hope that that counts. The other option I have for this is Havoc by Christopher Bolin. It's a twisty, atmospheric psychological suspense about a meddlesome elderly guest at a decadent luxury hotel who believes she has left her problematic past behind until she decides to interfere in the lives of a young mother and her 8-year-old son and finally meets her wicked match. So there's some kind of war between age and youth, and I don't really understand, but it sounds like a wild ride and I'm intrigued, and it's set in a hotel, so that at least counts for the prompt. Prompt number 7 is to read a book with dual timelines, and I think that this one is one of the easier prompts to fulfill, at least if you like dual timelines, which I tend to do. My pick for this is going to be Pet by Catherine Chidgey. This is set in 1984 and 2014 in New Zealand, and it follows a young girl who wants to be her new teacher's pet, but there's something sinister going on at the school. There are thieves or something. This is said to be a dazzling and chilling psychological thriller with themes of racism and misogyny, and I think that sounds perfect for me, and I can't wait to read this. Another option could be Forgotten on Sunday by Valérie Perron, which I'm currently reading, and this has more than 2 timelines, I would say. I'm enjoying it so far, and I think this would count. This follows a woman in France. It's translated, so if you need a book for a translated prompt for some challenge, that would work for that as well. But it follows a woman who works in a nursing home for the elderly, and there's a mysterious phone call, and yeah, she is talking to the residents in this nursing home and hearing their life stories, and yeah, that's pretty much all I know so far, but it's very good. Another good option could be Red Clay by Charles B. Fancher. This is a new release that just came out in February of this year. It's historical fiction set in the 1940s, is the later timeline, and the earlier timeline is through the 1800s, and it follows a boy named Felix who grows up in slavery in the US. He has just passed away in the 1940s, and a woman from his past has come to talk to his children, and she says to them, a long time ago, my family used to own yours. And they also share a last name. So yeah, the book goes a little bit back and forth, but it's mostly following Felix and his life through slavery and the abolition of slavery and what happens after that. And yeah, that was a very good novel that I highly recommend. Prompt number 8 is to read a book that fictionalizes a famous historical figure. I'm not sure I'm very bothered about reading about a famous historical figure. I tend to prefer like regular people. Red Clay could work for that as well. It's a fictionalized story of the author's ancestor. Another book that could work for this is The Mare by Angharad Hampshire, which fictionalizes the life of Hermine Braunsteiner, who worked in a concentration camp in Nazi Germany. It's fantastic and a very relevant and important read, considering current events. Another book that I think could work that I haven't read yet is HHHH by Laurent Binet, I think his name is. This is translated from the French, and this follows two Czechoslovakian men who are on a mission to assassinate Reinhard Heydrich, who is the chief of the Nazi secret services. This is a very highly praised book, and I'm very intrigued to read it. I think it's going to be a bit heavy, but yeah, it's also based on true people and true events, and so I think this could work for this prompt. Another recommendation is The Maiden by Kate Foster, which fictionalizes the life of a woman who was accused of murdering her lover and was sentenced to be beheaded. This was longlisted for the Women's Prize last year, and I really enjoyed it. I don't see a lot of people reading this book, but I thought it was a great time, and yeah, I would recommend this one. Also fictionalizing a historical person, maybe not a famous one, but still a real one. I would also be interested to read The King's Witches by the same author. That came out last year, and that is about the Danish and British royal families, I think. So those would be more famous people. I read The Burnings by Naomi Kelsey last year, which is also based on the same people. But there was a lot of witch hunts in that book, and that scarred me a little bit. So I'm a little bit apprehensive of reading The King's Witches. But I'm very intrigued to see how Kate Foster tells that story, because The Maiden was not very brutal and The Burnings was. So I don't know, that could be an option. And then I have two other options. The first one is Isola by Allegra Goodman, which is about a French noblewoman who was deserted on an island by her guardian for having an affair with his servant. I think that's the short of it. It's the story of her survival, and that's also based on a true story. And then I also have 11/22/63 by Stephen King as an option. That is a bit of a chunkier book, and I don't typically read books that are that long, and I don't typically read Stephen King either, but that's a book that I'm intrigued by and that I think would work very well for this prompt. Prompt number 9 is to read a book with a light source on the cover. This one I have completed already. I read Cross My Heart by Megan Collins, which is a thriller, kind of. I didn't find it very thrilling, but I did find it to be a good time. And the light source in this case is the screen of her laptop. There are a lot of books with fire on the cover, or like different kinds of, candles and things burning. That would work as a light source, or anything like technological or a lamp post or something. There are currently 227 books added to this prompt on the Storygraph challenge, so if you can't find anything, just have a browse through there. Prompt number 10 is to read the book that has been on your shelf for the longest. I have The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini, which I haven't read. And I also have The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Both of these are books that I have been wanting to read for years and just haven't gotten around to. I keep pushing them off, and this is the year where I read these. Prompt number 11 is to read a book centered about a secret. For this one, I have another new release, and that is We Don't Talk About Carol by Kristen L. Berry. This follows a young woman called Sydney who finds a photograph of a woman who looks more like her than her sister or her mother does. And she discovers that the photo is of her aunt Carol, who she knows nothing about and that nobody talks about. And she discovers that her aunt Carol was one of 6 local black girls to go missing in the 1960s in North Carolina. And it hits close to home for Sydney because she was also a crime journalist and she was covering a case with missing girls and became obsessed with that, which led to a psychotic break. It says that it's delving into family, community, secrets, and motherhood, and that it is a gripping and deeply emotional story about overcoming the rotten roots of your family tree and what we'll do for those we love. I think that sounds fantastic. I also love the cover, and this would also work for light source on the cover with these little lights. And yeah, I think this sounds amazing. It's a debut novel, and yeah, I can't wait to read this. Prompt number 12 is to read a book with your favorite animal on the cover. I love a lot of different animals, but one of them would definitely have to be cats. And for that, I have White Cat, Black Dog, which has a white cat and a black dog on the cover, and also a snake. So this is a short story collection by Kelly Link. I think there are 7 short stories in this, and I have read 2, I think. They are dark and weird retellings of fairy tales. Not any fairy tales that I recognize so far, but I don't mind because then I don't have any, preconceived notions. I'm really enjoying it so far, and I hope to finish this year, and so then I can count it for this prompt. And then there are 2 bonus prompts. The first one is a book that is the start of a series, and for that I have 2 options. I could either go with An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, or I could go with Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Merer. This series is a bit more like quality maybe, but I think that Assistant to the Villain could be a fun time, and I need to sprinkle in some light reading and some silly, nonsensical, just for funsies kind of books, and so yeah, this one could work for that. The second bonus prompt is to read a book with a 1-word title, and there are lots of those to choose from. One option that I have is again Pet by Catherine Chidgey. If I choose to use something else for dual timeline, which this was meant for, I could always use this for the bonus prompt. But another book that I would like to read is James by Percival Everett, which I meant to read like all last year, but didn't get to. So yeah, I still have that as an option as well. A few books that I could recommend with a 1-word title are Circe by Madeline Miller, retelling of Greek mythology and very good. Piranesi by Susanna Clark, fantastic. Marina by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. This is a young adult horror novel, which is very creepy but very beautiful, and yeah, highly recommend. Bird Eye by Judith Hannigan. This is about a sort of rundown commune in the Catskill Mountains. It follows a woman there and her 2 friends, and there's intrigue. It's a very character-focused book, not a lot of plot, but it's very well written, and yeah, a very interesting story. And then I also have Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood, which is a perfect book to read in October. This follows a woman in London in the 19s-ish. She's a witch, and she's contacted by her coven, and she has to pass these tests or she will lose her magic forever. Those are my plans and recommendations for this challenge. Let me know if you are participating as well, and if you have any other suggestions for the different prompts, particularly the trickier ones, like the twins and the, kitchen utensil was kind of tricky, and the hotel one. I need advice for the hotel prompt. So yeah, let me know those in the comments. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Just for funsies? Okay.